Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, a podcast that only talks about our league. Episode 41, week 6 recap. Talk a little bit about week 7. We got vibe check, gossip, no trades this week. Think second time of the year we've had 0 trades go down prior to this episode. Complaining corner. First ever DBL matchup of the week. That's what we're calling it. DBL game of the week. We're doing a recap of that. Preview next week's DBL game of the week. And we've got Zach starts of the week. And I can't remember if we got to fill in myself. But, we got to fill in myself if Peeler decides to give me a call. Stay tuned. We'll see. If not, I'm not going to get mad at him. Padres fucking lost. He's the only person that's got work, that's got things to do in real life. And if he can't make the pod, I am not going to bully him, be mean to him, hold it against him in any way whatsoever. That is my promise. I do just want to point out that losing Game 5, getting shut out, to your big brother rival. And this was supposed to be the year. And losing in that way, that hurts. And that is, I wouldn't want to come on and face that kind of music anyways. Is that related to this at all? Is he actually just busy at work? Hey, like I said, he's the only one that's got that busy of a job. So it's okay. And who cares, really? It's just a podcast that sees 25, 35 views a week. Is it going to be a big deal if he doesn't come on for feeling myself as everyone else has this year? No, not a big deal at all. I'll be okay. Vibe check. I'm going to start this episode the way the last episode should have started because it happened again. Holy shit, Donald lost 6 straight games to the top scorer. 6 straight games to the top scorer. Gives Peeler his first top score of the week of our fantasy football season. And that tells me that he is a fucking kingmaker. Poor guy Donald absolutely is the kingmaker when it comes to handing out these top scores. At this point, we as a unit, we as a league, we as a podcast need to root for this to continue to happen. And I'll tell you, next week, we have a real chance for this streak to get broken, okay? I'll tell you why here in a bit. This week, however, and I've alluded to in the past, Donald has a great team that shouldn't be 0-5, now 0-6. This week, it kind of laid a stinker and would have only beat 2 other teams this week with Tyler and Mr. So with all the credit I've been giving, although he's 0-5, now 0-6, he really had no chance to win this week. And this next week, we have a hell of a game with the 2 low losers in fantasy football right now. We have Donald and Mr. Griggs. Mr. Griggs has 1 win, and we'll see what happens this week. See, that's what I love about a league like ours. A lot of leagues really struggle outside of the top teams, right? Every league that you're typically in has good people at the top, your team that you care about, and then after that, that's it. But in our league, the punishments have helped this, but also the longevity has really helped the bottom teams really stay irrelevant and become a relevant matchup. And this is one that I think all eyes are on. We've got Donald and Mr. 2 shitty teams. Two lot of very prideful teams making trades, making transactions left and right, trying to not be that bottom team. And they face off this week, and we've got a hell of a one. I think, and this may be a little early to predict. Just kidding. I have it written right here. Donald and Mr. DBL Game of the Week, Game 7. Week 7, sorry. DBL Game of the Week. It's happening, people. Get your fucking popcorn ready. We have the stinkiest matchup of all time, and we're all going to tune in and give a shit about it. Get ready. Back to the teams that matter. Monday Night Football was an electric game. Okay, wasn't the best overall as far as high-quality performances, high-quality quarterback play, high-quality defenses. Could both of these teams be Bills, Jets? Could both of those teams be in the playoffs? Yes. Do I think that's going to happen? Yes. Are they playing like playoff football teams yet? No, definitely not. Okay? And I don't know where in this podcast I have built in for this rant, but now feels as good a time as ever. Everyone knows me. I'm a big Josh Allen guy. Everyone knows me. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy. That is no coincidence that Aaron Rodgers is constantly compared to Tom Brady. I'm losing that. And then Josh Allen is constantly compared to the great Patrick Mahomes. I will never stop beating the drum for those guys, for my guys. But I'll tell you, these guys are making it real fucking hard on your boy, okay? There are some times crying into my pillow at night that I just wish these guys would just be better. They're without a doubt some of the most talented football players that have ever played this game. Aaron Rodgers, I have been quoted, and I'm not the one that came up with it, but the most talented thrower of the football is Aaron Rodgers. Some of the things that he's been able to do. But it hasn't translated to winning football games. And that's always been an argument. I could never win. When it's Aaron Rodgers versus Tom, the guy's winning Super Bowls while Aaron Rodgers is winning MVPs and doing nothing in the playoffs, losing to teams he shouldn't have lost to, being top seed, losing to the first round bounced, right? Josh Allen, same thing, no MVPs, but balling, great guy. And then Patrick comes along, winning Super Bowls, making shit look easy, beating Josh every single year in there. I say all this to say, I'm feeding off of last week where I was just really answering to a lot of the takes that I have. I'm just admitting that it's hard. And seeing a game like last night or Monday night, Monday night, where you got these two immensely talented players that it's just like, what's the excuse now? And I wasn't even going to talk about them. But then they both make massive trades today. And that's where it leads into what I want to talk about the podcast. Because this is a fantasy football podcast. So we need to talk about fantasy football, right? So this isn't about Brandon just having his sports takes. This is about fantasy football. Now, both of these teams, after that game last night, both of these teams decided to make a trade. Davante Adams gets traded to the Jets. Boom. Alerts. I have my Adam Schefter alerts turned on. Boom. Five straight things. I'm like, yo, what the fuck's happened? I'm with a client. Everything's good. Seen it. Wow. Not surprising. We've been banging this drum for 2-3 weeks. He was never hurt. I thought it was instantly the first reaction. I thought it was funny for how it reacts to how it fucks the Raiders. Like, it's just funny. The Raiders are... Yeah, he doesn't go to a much better franchise than the Jets. Jets are notorious for shit like this happening to them. But it is kind of funny being that we're all in Las Vegas and just the city is just a tragic situation with the Raiders. But anyways, fantasy relevance, Davante Adams skyrockets as far as his relevance goes. The repertoire is built in with Aaron Rodgers. He's been force-feeding Garrett Wilson yet, but you can still tell something's a little off. Garrett Wilson might not be one of those ones that I thought he was. And even though he was force-fed and doing well with the opportunity, I thought Garrett Wilson was like transcendent. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Davante Adams, Mike Evans, like great. And it turns out that he's not. He's more on the level of like the Brandon Ayuk's, fucking Garrett Wilson now. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. T. Higgins. He's a number 2, basically. And Davante Adams is a number 1, and he's about to remind everybody. And that's just my thing. So, with that being said, I said I had no trades this week. And I'm doing this weird, like, Donald Trump finger. But does he do that? More of an Obama thing, if you ask me.
Hello.
Braden, first of all, happy birthday. It's Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, would you be interested in doing that trade that we talked about a week ago?
If you can remind me what it was.
It was DK Metcalf, James Conner for Davante Adams and James Cook.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are. Hey, I'm curious, how many people have tried to rehash the same trade talks and see if you're still down as of today?
Basically, only you and Peeler, like I said, has been trying to trade me XFL and UFL and AFL players for Davante the past month.
Okay, so real quick, I know you got to get to your dinner here. Are you interested in trading Davante Adams for anything less than like God, or now that the in light of the new news is are you keeping him, or what's the deal there?
So what I told Peeler today, and he can back this up, was unless you're gonna make the trade offer sexy, I'm holding on to him.
Fair. Okay, man. Well, have a good night. Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. So yeah, that didn't work out. I mean, I kind of thought. Yeah. Reading it out loud, too, like, I literally thought there might have been a chance for that, and, yeah, that's bad. Like, me saying out loud, that was never going to work. The other trade that went down involving the game yesterday was Amari Cooper to the Bills. I think that automatically upgrades Donald's team. Donald needed it. He was playing Amari Cooper no matter what. It's either him or Shaheed. And I think doing that, getting Amari Cooper to go to the Bills, immediate upgrade. And I think right away he's going to feel that impact. Maybe Donald's going to start winning some games now. Do I like both of these trades just because they're going to two of my guys' teams, Aaron and Josh? Sure. Yeah, but also these guys are not just like bad receivers going to they're going to better situations. Getting some work done at my house right now. And so now back to the game a little bit. A lot of comebacks in our matchups, and this week's matchups came short. Braden had Josh Allen. He had, I think, a couple other pieces. It might have been the backup running back, Ty Johnson. And I thought he had another piece too, but that came short. He came within 10 points, but he was down by a lot, and it didn't look like it even stood a shot on Monday night. Adam came within 2 points, basically one catch away for Garrett Wilson for him winning. Garrett Wilson had an outstanding game, 25 points, but came just short. Literally one catch. Didn't have a catch in the fourth quarter. I would have already been celebrating a win, and God, it just sucks to see Adam lose a game like that. It really does. He had a good week, but damn, it just didn't count for shit. And then fitting, now I got to talk about my team also losing in a close one. It really wasn't close. I needed like 45 points from Breece Hall. I was also playing against Dalton Kincaid. Justin had a 30-point lead. So I needed a big game from Breece, and he had a good game. My takeaway, Breece Hall, for sure, not for trade. Not for trade. Not for trade. Fuck what I said last week. I mean it. And I think that having Breece moving forward is going to be good. I think they realized they unlocked something with him, and they moved the ball better than they have in weeks past. And they also just like gave Braylon Allen like 3 touches. Like, he's dead. They gave him like 3 touches, and they gave him a goal line carry. It pissed me off. Breece Hall is their guy without a doubt. And shouldn't even be having that conversation. Duh, he's the guy. He's Breece fucking Hall. Do we need to take away his Breece Lightning nickname? Possibly. He did look a little slow. He had 1 cut to make with the defender. The whole team blocked for him. He goes untouched. He has 1 defender to miss, and it's the safety. That's just taking away the angle, and all he has to do is cut inside and go for 6. Would that have mattered in my game? Probably not, but that's the kind of shit that you'd like to see. Derrick Henry would have done it. Saquon would have done it. Some of these other guys, Christian McCaffrey for sure would have done it. Probably would have whoop, 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 spin backwards. It would have done it. Gossip. I will be the first to tell you guys, I don't understand the difference in vibe check and gossip either. To be completely honest, I'm supposed to separate the two, have all my shit talk here, then in vibe check just kind of talk about the overall, but they all just kind of bleed together. I just get to talking, and then shit just starts spilling out of my mouth. I talk shit whenever I feel like it. You know what I mean? So I was in Jimmy John's last week with a coworker, and he plays fantasy football. We just talking ball. We were talking about the Breece Hall situation. Openly talking. Jimmy John's, very fast. We were, I was just saying, like, what do I do with them? This and that. While we're at the soda fountain, and this other guy's there. Young, kind of an older guy, like mid-40s. Not relevant at all. And he clearly knows what we're talking about and chimes in. Hey, seems like you guys would know the answer to this question. So I'm getting offered a trade for George Kittle. I have to give up DK Metcalf. I literally laughed at him. I said, buddy, I know George Kittle is a big name and all, but come on. It's DK Metcalf. Like, DK is so much the guy. Like, relax. I laughed at him. I asked him who his tight end was. He said Tucker Kraft. Fucking, I said, absolutely. Dude, Tucker Kraft has been balling. He's clearly their guy. This is a no-brainer. Decline that trade immediately. That was literally Thursday during the day. Thursday night football happens. George Kittle, 2 touchdowns, 22.8 points. DK, 7 points, same game. I didn't realize that game was happening that night, or like those two were facing that night, but I don't think I can ever show my face in that Jimmy John's again. Is it still the right move? Probably. I still feel confident in the advice I gave him. You know, it's funny because I always wonder how I'm going to react in a situation like this, and I almost beg for it. Like, I hope somebody randomly asked me for start-sit advice today. I hope somebody asked me a random trade question today. How cool would that be? Somebody values and I gave him like solid reasoning and answering, and then immediately that matchup happens, and I just like, I remember driving home that day and thinking, I hope George Kittle doesn't go the fuck off today. Whatever. Hey, you take your shot, you win some and you lose some. Anyways, moving on. I won't be going back to that Jimmy John's. It's expensive there anyways. It's okay. I don't need to go back there. And what is he going to do? Beat my ass? If he was listening to the pod, I would tell him that he should not be listening to me for advice. I just talk shit. That's all I do. Me and my brother had a good matchup. A lot of teams had great week this week, but I think Justin deserves a little bit of highlight because to me, that's just what a team putting it all together looks like. And I'll tell you what, it's the Brandon BP bump, the brother bump. He really needed his best game. I didn't put up stellar numbers, but he had a little bit of adversity. Brian Robinson getting hurt the day before the game. He has to slide Christian Kirk in there. Christian Kirk sucks. He puts up 6 points, and other than Christian Kirk, every single other player on his team puts up double-digit points, scores 128 total. Didn't get the top score, but to me, that's his best performance of the year. Bijan had his breakout performance, of course, after me talking about last week how Bijan and Breece Hall are essentially the same guy. It's frustrating, and then boom, Bijan has its best game of the year. So did Breece, so whatever. I just think Justin had his overall breakout game. Deontay, Hubbard, Jamo Williams, Kincaid, Jaden, they all scored double-digit points. He had good kicker, good defense. Best case scenario for Justin. So kudos, pat on the back for him. Braden finally lost. There are no longer any undefeated teams in our league. We have 5 teams at 4-2. We've got some damn good teams in this league overall. Zach's lost 2 straight. Still appears to be a good team. Like, we've got some storylines brewing for the future, boys and girls. We've got matchup this week of 4-2 4-2 Peeler versus 4-2 Austin. We tend to talk about Austin's team quite a bit, and we're going to in the future, so that will not be the game of the week, but it is a hell of a good matchup. And, it's just we're grinding. We're in the dog days of grinding right now, and every little win matters. I'm going to continue to say it. DBL game of the week. You may say, Brandon, where's BP's complaining corner? We love that segment. We love when you whine and bitch and moan. Don't have anything to whine and bitch and moan about this year, people. Even though I lost, I thought I tried my best, and I lost to Justin's best game. So here we are. BP's complaining corner is going to take a break this week, and we will not be talking about it. So on to DBL game of the week. Recap of last week's game. We had Zach versus Austin. So I asked for them to record a little bit of pregame reaction or pregame talk. Give a little shit talk, give a little banter, whatnot. I'm going to go ahead. I haven't listened to it yet. Okay, I watched the game and I've got takes of my own. But one thing I will do is watch right now, give a little reaction.
What's up, guys? Pre-game interview, DBL game of the week. Me and Austin. Pretty cool to be the first one ever. He is 3-2. I'm 4-1, I think. Today's Friday. I feel good going in. I feel worse. I found out this morning that Jordan Mason got hurt last night. Wasn't able to watch the game. I was too busy getting my ass kicked by Faith Lutheran. But that sucks. Now I have 3 hurt running backs on my bench, coupled with a hurt tight end and 2 hurt receivers. So, and they're all good. Yeah, so I'm coaching fancy through a Pringles can currently. Don't have much wiggle room. I got about as much wiggle room as a fat girl in a stadium seat. But I feel good against Austin. Championship rematch. I'm thinking his players are going to come in probably a little pissed off from last year. But once we knock him in the mouth, we'll remind him what happened. I think for the quarterbacks, I have Lamar Jackson who's playing at a pretty awesome level. Anybody that thinks he's not good can play in traffic for all I care. He's got Kyler Murray, I think. I'll take Lamar any day of the week. Running backs I talked about a little bit. Jordan Mason only got 9 points, which is not great, especially when he has King Henry on the other side. But I do think Jonathan Taylor's hurt for him, so that's nice. I think he has Chase Brown, who I tried to trade for earlier. Then I canceled the trade. So cue up Chase Brown for 23.1 points. I think he has the edge in running backs, but I think where I need to win the game is at receiver. Malik Neighbors is out, and he is awesome. But I get to replace him with Jaden Reed, I think he's a top 12 receiver right now, so it's not too bad. I think ultimately it comes down to if Mike Evans can not get 0 points against Marshawn Lattimore. I think that's his name on the Saints, the corner. And the St. Brown's been good, but where's the huge game? I need a huge game from Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm calling him out. Standing on the table in front of everybody and calling out Amon-Ra to give me that 30-point lead. That's what I need. Because it's not going to come from tight end. He blew his load last week when I didn't play him. So I'd imagine he's got a solid 4 or 5 points. AC's got Brock Bowers, so I'd give AC the advantage there. It's going to come down to my receivers, and if they can put up the big numbers, and if his can't. But we'll see. I feel confident right now, even only having 9 points from Jordan Mason this week. There's a lot of football left. So, talk to you guys after 10 o'clock games.
What up, boys? AC here. Just going to give a little preview of DBL GOTW. That's the Boys League Game of the Week. Me and Zach should be a good one. We'll see what happens. Wearing camo because your boys going hunting, and hopefully that's what the boys on the squad do. They go hunting. 30 racks everywhere. We just gotta perform. If we perform, I think we're gonna do all right. We got a little late behind the 8 ball, but Jordan Mason putting up 9 points is huge compared to like his 25 or whatever. So. We just got to perform. I think we're in a good spot. Besides, I finally got some news that JT's out again, which isn't good, but it helps my start-sit questions I have. So, I mean, I say I'm sitting good, and then you got Spencer Rattler throwing to Chris Olave. You got Chase Brown, who's a backup. Been doing all right, but we'll see how he does. I basically need 30 from Kyler, 30 from King Henry, 30 from London again. But, you know, it's possible. We've done it. Just got to put it all together and beat Zach's shitty team. It's, hopefully we get a trend going of Zach losing this week and take him down from the top spots, and then no one has to worry about him. We'll see. Should be fun. Stay tuned. No friendships this week. Friendships out the window. Records out the window. It's game of the week, baby. Prime time. That's what we get. That's what we do. That's what we show up. We're gonna work hard and see where we fall. Peace.
I was recording for the podcast. What are you doing here? Get out of here. Oh, okay, cool. That was
so weird.
that was my reaction to Austin's video for being boring and snoozing, which isn't fair. Okay, sorry. My wife came in and ruined it. She had to give me some mail. But back to Zach's here. First of all, hilarious. The two jokes just back to back just absolutely take you off your feet with the coaching through a Pringles can and coaching through a Pringles can. Not much wiggle room. It's like a fat girl in a stadium seat. I fucking started dying laughing. Great joke. A+ joke. A coach's joke. You can tell he's broken that out several times on the football field. Probably falls on deaf ears because he probably says it a lot. But boy, does that land when it hits the fucking open market. It brought up something that was interesting. I did not know it was the champ rematch. Should have known as a league historian commissioner that I am. That is cool that was the first matchup, DBL game matchup, and we had a rematch of the championship. So pretty astounding work. Now, remind you, this video was recorded on Friday before all the games, and he did predict that it was going to come down to Mike Evans and Amon-Ra be the reason why Zach won or lost. Those are exactly the reasons why Zach lost this game. So let's get into it. I'll go ahead and put up the score matchup here. Let me put my glasses on here. Zach pretty much had everyone else play decent enough to win a fantasy football game. But Mike Evans with 5.4 points, Marshawn Lattimore, I guess, had him in clamps. Every single time Baker threw his way, that seemed to be the pick zone. And I don't even know if any of them went to Lattimore, but just for whatever reason, it did not work out for Baker's huge football game. 51 points did not equivalent to Mike Evans getting any points. And then also, St. Brown didn't have an awful game, but Zach said he was standing on the table for Amon-Ra, needing that big game. And it did not happen. 13.7 points. And the real reason it only happened was because of the one touchdown late in the fourth quarter where the game was long over. It was essentially garbage points, and it just was not enough to get Austin the win. To get Zach the win. Everyone else played a decent game. Now, flip side to that, so it did come down to the receivers as Zach did predict. And then you had Austin. The joke about the 30 racks, I'm not going to lie, that shit hit the second time hard as hell because I thought he was just saying like he needs his receivers to ball 30 racks everywhere. I'm going hunting. 30 racks is a beer reference. He drinks hella beer when he goes hunting. Boom. That's a clean, thought out, well put statement right there. Did he get 30 burgers? Let's see. No, he didn't. He had 125 points. He won. So to me, talk shit about him right now is asinine. He won the first ever DBL game of the week. Kicker and defense both combined for 33 points. Anytime you're getting that's massive. Olave went down. He had a minus 0.5 in his lineup and ended up pulling out a win. That's impressive. Kyler Murray, 11.96. He didn't do anything completely outstanding. Outside of Derrick Henry and the defense and kicker, nothing was super, super beatable in this game. In fact, he made a poor start in the quarterback position with not playing Caleb Williams, probably because I bullied him out of it. But nonetheless, I think he played a beatable game, scored 127 points, and did what he had to do to win. And I'm not taking any credit away from him. Win's a win. His team's pretty in solid shape heading forward. But this one came down to exactly what Zach said about it, where he needed something out of Amon-Ra, and Amon-Ra did not give it to him, and that is why he lost the game. So congratulations to the DBL Week 6 first annual DBL Game of the Week winner. Impressive win by their Austin. Would you rather have a fantasy ship or the first ever DBL Game of the Week? I don't know. The answer is a ship. That's the stupid fucking question. Moving on to this week's DBL Game of the Week. I alluded to it earlier. You heard it here second. Mr. versus Donald. We have 1-5 Mr. Griggs versus 0-6 Donald. Let's take a look at the matchup. Let's take a look at the numbers and what we should expect from this matchup. First of all, why the fuck is this game relevant because it's important to track that if Mr. goes off and gets top score this week and Donald loses 0-7 to the top score, we're talking an all-time run. This is bigger than us. This is bigger than all of us. It's more impressive than winning anything else that we could all amount to in our lives. There's single-handedly there's nothing harder in this world to do than if Donald is able to get Mr. the top score of the week. So let's take a look at any big start-sit dilemmas. I mean, we do have Donald with some pretty crazy buys. He's got the Bears bye with the DJ Moore and Cole Kmet out of his lineup. His kicker, best player, Brandon Aubrey, is out of his lineup. And then on Mr.'s side, he's got a full-strength shitty roster here. So, I mean, it should be a pretty even matchup. The tail of the tape, projected numbers, we have a projection within 0.5, 96.6 to 96.11 in favor of Donald. Now, remember, Donald's got that Amari Cooper bump with Buffalo, but how is that going to fit in? How is he going to fit into that Buffalo offense right away? Is he going to fit into that Buffalo offense right away? We'll see. I mean, I like Donald's team way more. He's got Baker Mayfield, Josh Jacobs, Kenny Walker, Amari Cooper, Mooney, Rashid Shaheed. This team should win on paper. I think everything's got. On the flip side, we have Mr.'s team. Anthony Richardson, Raheem Mostert, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Tank Dell, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, that's as ugly as it gets. We'll have to see, can Travis Kelce come through for him. So this may be the only time either of these two teams gets the DBL game of the week, and by golly, we're going to give them our best. And I think all of us as a league need to rally around this matchup. This one needs to be a big part of everyone's agenda. Starting with Thursday, we will get to hear their side of the story. We'll talk to them. I'll try to figure out some way to interview them. But this week should be a good one. No Thursday matchups for Mr. One Thursday matchup for Donald. He's got Rashid Shaheed in there. So we'll see what happens. This one should be a good one. I'm excited for it. Justin Fields in lieu of Kirk Cousins. Sorry, I had that backwards. Kirk Cousins started in lieu of Justin Fields. Now, Tyler goes and makes a big trade last week to get Justin Fields on his team. This doesn't matter. Tyler won anyways. But if we're talking purely start-sit decisions, I did not love this one here. Not only because Justin Fields outscored him, but I think he just, when you're doing stuff like this, you're getting too cute. Justin Fields is your starter. He is a every week fantasy starter. Every single thing in the numbers say that Justin Fields should be starting fantasy-wise. And Kirk Cousins, I understand he had the big Thursday night game and kind of shocked the world, but this was a big Kirk Cousins letdown, and Tyler just ran right into it. Next one down, we have Augie starting Jake Ferguson over Evan Ingram. Classic not paying attention Augie play right here. I think Jake Ferguson versus the Lions, potential shootout. That's what you thought. Wasn't. Evan Ingram was the guy you drafted, and you should have made that start. Again, doesn't matter. You won without it. Oh, just kidding. You did it. And if you made this start, you would have fucking won, you dumbass. I've been trying to be nicer to Augie. This hasn't really given me a reason to yet. Starting Kyler over Caleb for Austin. I just thought, based off of pure numbers, Caleb's been playing better. I know I kind of said you should not be playing him a while ago. I actually sat Caleb in my Dynasty League. I get it, but Kyler's not playing very well at this very moment, and it might be time to look inwards on that. I don't know what you're doing forward, but you got to start Caleb this week because Caleb is on a bye week. But that was the wrong start for obvious reasons. And then Donald starting Geno Smith over Baker Mayfield. I understand it hasn't really burned you in the past, but Baker is top 4 in fantasy scoring, especially after this week. Baker should not be on your bench over Geno Smith. Period. And not even next week. He's top 4 in overall fantasy scoring. Baker should not be on your bench. He's playing the Ravens this week, who give up the 5th most fantasy quarterback points. Easy peasy. Don't think about it. Baker should be in your lineup, and I'm tired of seeing you make that thing. It hasn't burned you. This week it did. It wouldn't have gotten you the win, but this week it was a dumb decision. Thus it was. Overall, the start-sits were not that bad this week. I'm nitpicking, but none of these really mattered, and none of them were glaring. Like Augie, I thought had a bunch more. Turns out he had his receivers go off, and then his bench receivers also did pretty well too. But none of them were the wrong start. But he had like Keenan Allen on his bench. Not even too much to complain about there. So overall, as a unit, good job, guys. Feeling myself? Well, what do you know? Kyle Peeler will not be making it, but that's okay. The Dodgers beat the Padres, and that's all that really matters in this exact moment in time. I do want to say that a late submission came in for the DBL game of the week. Austin states, as a post-game comment, just want to thank the fantasy gods. They know I'm not a big game manager, and they rewarded me by winning the first ever DBL GOTW. Made a couple bad roster moves, but my horses made up for it. Zach has a good team, and he just got a couple bad breaks. Walking away with the big W to join in on the 4-2 crew. We're on to Peeler. Thanks, Austin, for that. Appreciate it. Zach, think we kind of get the gist of what he would say. And then, we're not getting Peeler to join us this week. So that wraps up our episode. Comments, questions, anything at all, just hit me up. And thank you all for joining and listening to another week. I'll see you next one. Thanks.